Hello viewers, welcome to CEC Gurukul Lectures. In today, we shall be starting a new series on isomerism. You know that some compounds have same molecular formula, but they have different physical and chemical properties. These compounds are known as isomers. Isomers is a Latin word in which iso means same and mers means units. That is, isomers have different properties. Have you wondered why? Yes, because they have different structures. And this phenomena of existence of isomers is known as isomerism. Isomerism can be of two types, that is, constitutional isomers and stereoisomers. In constitutional isomers, compounds have same molecular formula, but arrangement of atoms within the molecule is different. Whereas stereoisomers have same molecular formula, same structural formula, but the arrangement of atoms in molecule in space is different. So when we talk of constitutional isomers, when I say that they have different connectivity, what I mean here is that the atoms are connected in different order. And on the basis of how atoms are connected in the molecule, constitutional isomers can be of 5 types. That is, they can be chain isomers, they can be position isomers, they can be functional isomers, and they can be metamers as well as tautomers. When we talk of chain isomers, that means the carbon skeleton is different. In position isomers, the position of the functional group is different. In functional isomers, the functional groups is different. For example, we can take that is ethanol and dimethyl ether are functional isomers. In alcohol, the functional group is OH, whereas in ether, the functional group is O. Similarly, we can have metamers. In metamers, the functional group is same, but the alkyl groups on either side of functional group is different. And when we talk of tautomers, it is a special kind of functional isomerism in which there is dynamic equilibrium between the keto and the enol form. I have discussed in great details constitutional isomerism in one of my lectures, that is lecture on isomerism, whose link I am sharing with you. So now if we talk of stereoisomers, we know stereoisomers are of 3 types. That is, they are conformations or conformers, then they are enantiomers, and then we have diastereomers. What are conformations or what are conformers? Conformers result in the molecule due to free rotation about carbon-carbon sigma bond, and we have infinite arrangements in space. Whereas when we talk of enantiomers are non-superimposable mirror images of each other, and they are optically active. Whereas diastereomers are not mirror images of each other, and geometrical isomers are one of the examples of diastereomers. Today we shall be discussing diastereomers in detail, that is geometrical isomers. But before we proceed further, let us first see what are conformations. Conformations arise due to free rotation about a carbon-carbon single bond. And when I say that they arise due to carbon-carbon single bond, so here you can see a sigma bond. Here the rotation is free, that is in ethane molecule. And because of the free rotation about the sigma bond, there will be infinite arrangements. So what we find is that the free rotation about a single bond. Now if you take an example of ethane, then what we find that in ethane molecule has two methyl groups, and these two methyl groups can rotate independently of each other. Why is it so? Because the barrier to the rotation of two methyl groups in ethane is approximately 2.9 kilocals per mole, and this amount of energy is readily available at room temperature from the molecular collisions, and the methyl groups are said to have free rotation. And because of this free rotation, ethane can have infinite conformations. The two extreme conformations are eclipsed and the staggered. And here you can see the Sohus projections for the ethane molecule. In eclipsed form, we observe that the hydrogens of the methyl group are very close to each other, whereas in staggered conformation, these hydrogens are away from each other. Another representation for the eclipsed and the staggered conformations can be Neumann's projections of ethane. And when you look at the Neumann's projections of ethane, what you find that in eclipsed form, two hydrogens are very close to each other. That is, they are exactly behind each other, but just to depict the hydrogen which is attached to the rear carbon, we've shown some difference here, and the dihedral angle here between hydrogens is 0 degrees, whereas in staggered conformation the dihedral angle is 60 degrees. So the staggered conformation is more stable than eclipsed. We shall be discussing conformations in great detail when we discuss conformations of alkanes and cycloalkanes. Now, if you look into the structure of alkene, and the alkene that I have taken here is ethene, what we find in this case is that we have a double bond, and because of the presence of this double bond, the rotation is not free. And now if we rotate this bond, what will happen? The pi bond will break, and then the rotation will be possible. So we say that in alkenes, because of the presence of double bond, the rotation is restricted. And since the rotation is restricted here, the arrangement of atoms in molecule in space is fixed. So in today's lecture, I shall be discussing geometrical isomerism in detail. It is also known as di-stereoisomerism. So as I've said that the free rotation about carbon-carbon double bond in alkenes is not possible as the molecule is locked. And since molecules have different geometries, we give name the geometrical isomerism. So as you can see on your screens, I have shown the structure of 2-butene. So in the first structure, what we find that the two methyl groups which are indicated by green balls, this is the ball and stick model for 2-butene, are on the same side of the double bond, whereas when we look into the other structure, in this case the two methyl groups are on the opposite side of the bond. So in case of one isomer, the arrangement of atoms is U-shaped, that is the first, and in the second case it is almost in a straight structure. So because of the restricted rotation about the double bond, we have fixed geometries in space. This geometrical isomerism is also known as cis-trans isomerism or EZ isomerism, and it is a form of stereoisomerism. That is, the molecular formula is same, structural formula is same, but arrangement of atoms in space is different. For example, if we take that of butene, 2-butene, the molecular formula is C4H8, and if we talk of the structural formula, it is CH3 CH, double bond CH, CH3. Now, but when we look into the structure in space, then what we find in one case, that is the first, the two methyl groups are on the same side of the double bond, whereas when we look into the second structure, the two methyl groups are on the opposite side. So in this case, the orientation is in space or spatial arrangement is different. So what we can now conclude, that geometrical isomers are molecules that are fixed into their different spatial positions with respect to one another due to restricted rotation about a bond. So the two most common types of geometrical isomers due to two common forms are due to the presence of a double bond in the structure, or they may also arise due to a ring structure. So when we say due to presence of double bond between carbon-carbon, this type of geometrical isomerism can be shown by alkenes and polyenes. And when we look into cyclic structures, then we find that di-substituted cyclic compounds also show geometrical isomerism because of restricted rotation about the ring. So let us see as to why alkenes show geometrical isomerism. Now we know that the double bond is made up of one sigma bond and one pi bond. If we talk of a sigma bond is between two carbon atoms, is formed by head-on overlap of sp2 hybrid orbital of each carbon atoms. So what I mean here is, imagine this is one carbon, and these are the sp2 hybridized orbitals. So this is how the overlapping will take place, that is head-on overlapping. So this bond, now if I want, I can rotate this bond. Whereas when we talk of a pi bond, then pi bond is formed by overlap of unhybridized p orbitals, and the maximum overlap between the p orbitals occur when these two p orbitals are exactly parallel to each other, which you can see on your screens. And now see what I mean here is, now imagine these are the unhybridized p orbitals. So now if they are parallel to each other, here the overlapping is good and the bond can form. So this bond, when this bond forms, what we find is that this is locking the bond at two places, and this bond is stretching above and below the plane of the ring, thereby locking the molecule as we have shown here. So what you see here is that we have a sigma bond between the two carbon atoms, which is formed by the head-on overlap of sp2 hybridized orbitals of each carbon atom, and then we have a pi bond which is formed by the overlap of unhybridized p orbitals of the two carbon atoms, and these are stretching above and below the plane of the ring. Since they are stretching above and below the plane of the ring, the rotation is restricted about the carbon-carbon double bond, though that means at a particular time at room temperature, the position of the groups will be same. Now imagine that if we rotate one of the carbons of the double bond to 90 degrees to the other, what will happen? In this case, one of the p orbitals will become perpendicular to other. That means both the p orbitals will be perpendicular to each other, and when they are perpendicular to each other, there will be no net overlap between them. So what you find is that if they are parallel to each other, they are forming a bond. Now we've rotated this bond, and when we rotate this bond, this orbital is at 90 degrees now. So when it is at 90 degrees, there are no chances of overlap between them, and this bond will break now. So this is what we've shown. You can see on your slides that in the first case, the overlap is maximum since the p orbitals are parallel to each other, and when we rotate, the two p orbitals are at 90 degrees to each other and the overlap does not take place. So, maximum overlap of pz orbitals and the minimum overlap of pz orbitals is shown on your screens. Now, if we go on to the next one, what happens? Because we've rotated the angle, as a result, now what will happen? The pi bond will break and only the sigma bond remains. So, therefore, you have to keep in mind that neither of the doubly bonded atoms can be rotated about the double bond until and unless we break the pi bond, and the pi bond will not break at room temperature because we need 268 kilojoules per mole of energy is required to break this pi bond, and this amount of energy is not available to molecule at room temperature. So, in other words, we say that it is the pi bond which makes the position of two carbon atoms rigid, that is fixed with respect to each other. And in this case, again I have shown you the example in which the example of 2-butene, in which in first structure the two methyl groups are on the opposite side of the double bond, and in the second structure the two methyl groups are on the same side of the double bond. And in first case, two hydrogens are also on the opposite side, and in the second case, two hydrogens are on the same side of the double bond. So, it is the restriction in the rotation which makes the position of groups attached to two carbon atoms containing the double bond fixed in space, and it is this restricted rotation which is responsible for geometrical isomerism. So, now that means we know that one first condition which is essential for molecule to show geometrical isomerism is that there should be a double bond between carbon atoms around which the rotation is restricted. And in second case, each carbon of the double bond should be attached to two different groups or atoms. So, in this case, as we've seen, I've shown you two isomers for 2-butene. So, in one isomer we found that the two similar groups were on the same side of the double bond. So, the isomer in which two similar groups are on the same side of the double bond are known as cis isomer. You can remember this by taking an analogy to the word cis. Cis is sisters, S-I-S, sisters. Cis, short for sisters, is cis. And you know, sisters are always on the same side. So, these two groups are on the same side. Whereas, when the similar groups are on the opposite side of the double bond, it is known as trans isomer. And here we can compare them to enemies, because enemies are always crossing each other. And this trans isomer is derived, trans word is derived from the Latin word trans, which means across. So, that means in trans, the groups are going to be on the opposite side, that is in the first case, that is similar groups, and if that is the trans form, and that if two similar groups are on the same side, then it is the cis isomer. Sometimes we make a mistake when we say that the two carbons should be attached to two different groups, and the mistake that we make are shown in the first and the second figure. If we found compounds in which even one of the carbon is attached to two different groups, like the second case, we presume that this compound is going to show geometrical isomerism. It is not, because see, if when you break the bond and remake the bond, what will happen? The orientation of groups in space will always be different. That is, two groups, that is one methyl, and let's say hydrogen will be on the second one side, and in the second case again, when we, even if we remake the bond, the methyl and the halide ion will be on the same side. So that means when we are saying that two groups should be different, then in that case we mean the second structure. That is, each carbon should be attached to two different groups. That is, one carbon is attached to a methyl group and hydrogen. It is bonded by a double bond to the second carbon, which in turn is again attached to two different groups, that is methyl and hydrogen. And now what we've seen, that when we rotate the bond, it breaks, and when it breaks, one of the carbons is free to rotate, and when it rotates, there is interchange of two groups at either of the carbons of the double bond. And what we find is, when this rotation takes place, cis isomer gives rise to trans isomers, and trans isomer will give rise to cis isomer. So here what we've shown again is the cis and the trans isomers. That is cis-2-butene. In cis-2-butene, the two methyl groups are on the same side of the double bond. So remember, from sisters, sisters are together. Whereas in trans, the two methyl groups and two hydrogens are on the opposite side of the double bond. So remember this, that is, they are on the opposite side. They are against each other. That is, from enemies, they are trans to each other. Now, when I said that when we are rotating the double bond, one isomer is converting into other. So that means both the carbons of the double bond unit are stereocenters, and the corresponding double bond unit is a stereogenic unit. So what is a stereocenter? A stereocenter is an atom where an exchange of group gives rise to a stereoisomer. That is, a molecule with the same structure but different arrangement of atoms in space, and the double bond is the stereogenic unit. So here I have shown, you can see on your screens, I have shown a cis isomer. We've heated it, the pi bond breaks, and when the pi bond breaks, the rotation around the pi bond is free now. And when this is free now, one of the carbons will rotate. It can be either of the carbons. So when it rotates, and then when the temperature cools down, the pi bond is reformed. And when it reforms, then there is two possibilities, that we may get the original isomer, that is cis isomer, or the orientation may be as in the second figure that is shown, in which the two B groups, that is the B groups, are on the opposite side and the two A groups are on the opposite side. So this is the trans isomer. So as a result of rotation, the arrangement of atoms in space will differ, and both the carbons due to which this arrangement will differ are known as stereocenters, and the double bond is known as stereogenic unit. What we find is that 1,2 di-substituted alkenes and unsaturated di-basic acids can also show geometrical isomerism. In this case, I have taken an example of a dicarboxylic acid, that is but-2-ene 1,4-dioic acid. And here we have shown the cis orientation, a cis isomer in which both the carboxylic group are on the one side of the double bond and the two hydrogens are on the other side of the double bond, that is, identical groups are on the same side. So this is the cis isomer. Similarly, 1,2-dichloroethene is also a cis isomer in which both the halogen atoms are on the same side of the double bond. The next thing which you have to remember, if either one or both the carbons are containing double bond are attached to identical groups, then that compound will not show geometrical isomerism. Here I have taken an example of a halide compound, that is 1,1-dibromo-2-chloroethene. Then what we find in this case is that one of the carbons is attached to similar groups, that is identical groups, they are bromine atoms. So when we have bromo group here, what we find is when we break the bond and remake the bond, you will find that the orientation is always the same. That is, on one side of the double bond, we have chlorine and bromine, and on the other side we have the hydrogen and the bromo group. So that means even if we have broken the bond, then after reforming the bond, the orientation is same. So that means now we can conclude that alkenes will show geometrical isomerism if the atoms attached to the carbons containing the double bonds are different. Second point, there should be restricted rotation. That is condition number 1. There should be a double bond in the molecule and the two atoms attached to the double bond should be different. Then only molecule will show geometrical isomerism. Thank you.